It is that time of the month. Driving video time. First of all, I want to tease you guys with this. Don't want to give too much detail yet because there's some details we have to iron out, but I have a product line related to the channel coming the next month, okay? It's not just going to be mass printed t-shirt. It's not going to be some course or some info product. It's going to be something that actually is applicable to car guys and non-car guys, people who just drive cars. It's not going to be expensive, and it's something that I'm actually passionate about and want to make and want to provide to the world. So I'm very excited about this. Again, there's details to iron out, so I won't officially announce it until we've fully made sure everything's good. But that's coming next month, so be on the lookout for that. Subscribe, like the video, okay? So that you don't miss it. I don't know how liking the video means you won't miss it, but please just like the video. That's all. You know what? You don't have to subscribe. Just like the video. The other thing is, the other exciting announcement, I just bought a car, okay? Now, I don't want to get all sappy and, get all emotional and do this crying video about, hitting 20K, which thank you guys, by the way. But it was because I get paid from these videos. And I say that with extreme gratitude in my heart that I even got my channel monetized. I've been in this position. Not that it's a crazy vehicle, but the fact that I can even get there in the first place is nuts. This is literally just a passion project hobby. It's not a money grab for me. So at the risk of sounding super cheesy, thank you. Okay, this wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for you guys watching. That sounds really cheesy, but I mean it, okay? There's a reason everyone says that. It's because we mean it as YouTubers, so thank you so much. Switching gears, you already know, I said this before, it is driving video time. We are going over the absolute worst excuses that bad drivers make. Let's just get right into the video. First up, we have people who will goaltend lanes, aka box someone out of merging into their lane, and then use the excuse, oh, I wasn't letting them in. Unbelievably stupid, okay? Let me explain why. People will go to the ends of the earth to goaltend lanes for absolutely no reason, okay? If there's an open gap ahead of you and someone's trying to merge in, let them continue their merge. Why would you stop them? People use all these excuses like, oh, they could have merged earlier. It's like, you could have merged later. And also, they're perfectly legally allowed on the roads that both of you paid for with your tax dollars to merge whenever they want. You never know why someone's merging later. Maybe it's because it's selfish, but maybe it's because they took the wrong turn or they didn't realize the lane ended or whatever, right? So that being said, just let them in, okay? A good driver doesn't just care about him or herself. They care about all the other drivers around them. So you should be looking out for these people trying to merge and letting them in, okay? And not actively boxing them out of the lane. This sounds so elementary, but so many people refuse to do this. These people will go to the ends of the earth to try and justify their actions. They'll be like, oh, it's about sending a message. What message? That you're an insufferable person? It's stupid, okay? I get it. Some people can try and make illegal merges. There are niche cases where, it's fine to maybe not let someone in. But in most cases, especially if you're trying to box someone out, it's a terrible excuse when they eventually do to say, oh, I wasn't letting them in. That's just stupid. Terrible excuse. Next up, we got, why are you in such a rush? Now, people will say this when they're going not as fast as the person behind them wants to go. And then they're flashing their high beams, trying to get them to get out of the way, trying to pass them, whatever. Now, the only way I will take the side of the person who's in a rush, so to speak, is if the person in front is going too slow, okay? If the person making the excuse is going too slow, right? And too slow being below the limit, then fair enough, right? Obviously, it doesn't justify any unsafe actions, but still, I get it. But if the person in front is going anywhere above the limit, they are completely justified to make this excuse. If you're in a genuine rush on the roads to get somewhere in time, usually it's your fault. Usually it's because you didn't prepare enough ahead of time, and now you're taking the fact that you're going to be late out on other people on the road. So people who say, oh, why in such a rush? I'm actually going to side with them for the most part. There's cases where it's an exception, so I'll balance it out and meh. Next up, I had right of way. Basically, people will use this excuse when they get into an accident and then they stand by the fact that they had right of way. Now, in a legal perspective, they may be right, okay? A lot of the times they are telling the truth, but just because you have right of way doesn't mean that there isn't things you could have improved to help the situation or prevent it altogether. And this is just a life lesson in general, okay? Just because it isn't technically your fault doesn't mean there are things that you couldn't have changed. Where does this apply here? For example, okay, in my new car, which I'm gatekeeping for now, it's low to the ground, okay? If I was to ride in an SUV's blind spot constantly, right, just stay in the blind spot on the highway and they make a merge and they don't thoroughly shoulder check and then they hit me, that would be the SUV's fault. And I would have had right of way there. But there are still things I could have changed there. So my point here is that even if you have right of way, think about what you could have done differently to have prevented the accident from happening. This one is going to go into meh, okay? Next up, we got another accident one. So basically, it's when you cause an accident, right? So it's technically your fault. Say you're making a left turn at an intersection and you collide with an oncoming car. using the excuse that they were going too fast. On one hand, you have the people who just use it as like this ultimate barrier, like holding a cross at a vampire. They're like, oh, I may have caused the accident. It might have been my fault, but they were going too fast, right? And just whenever trying to absolve themselves from the responsibility of the crash by claiming the other person was speeding. And usually this is kind of BS, okay? Even if they're speeding slightly, if you make a clear driving mistake, it's most likely going to be your fault. However, there are rare cases when the person saying I was going too fast is actually a valid excuse. For example, let's say if the intersection, the oncoming car was around a blind corner and the person was like seriously speeding. So when you're making a left turn, you don't have time to see the person coming across this blind corner and they hit you and they're going fast enough where you had no time to react, then it would be their fault, okay? Because serious speed is not just an issue for like hitting pedestrians, it can be an issue for predictability because you genuinely don't expect people to be coming that fast. So in cases when it's excess speeding and you genuinely didn't have time to react, it will probably be clear and this is a valid excuse. But for the most part, people slightly speeding around does not absolve you from the responsibility of making a clear driving mistake. There is a bit of nuance, which is why I won't put it at the top, but in general, it's a very terrible excuse. Next up, we got they were going too slow. So basically people try and justify their reckless actions, passing in blind corners, cutting up, stuff like that. And their excuse is that the person ahead of them was going too slow. Now, first of all, most of the time when people do this, they're just super impatient, right? This kind of ties in with the like why are you in such a rush one. Most of the times you're just super impatient, but in rare cases, even if they are going too slow, nothing justifies stupid, irrational decisions like passing on a blind corner, okay? Absolutely nothing justifies that. I don't care if they're purposely trying to box you off the road. It doesn't matter. Not only does it put you in risk, but also puts an innocent third party at risk as well. So I hear this one a lot, right? It's completely invalid. Next up, this one is used in a road rage battle, and it's they started it, okay? Someone cuts you off, you cut them off harder. Absolutely dumb, okay? This is super stupid, invalid. Next up, we got the sun was in my eyes. Now, basically what people will say is when they almost get into an accident or they get into the accident and the sun was genuinely blinding them, they'll say, oh, the sun was in my eyes. I get it in the sense that it has happened to me before where the sun has suddenly blinded me. But however, it is completely preventable. It's called sunglasses or just using your sun visor or just slowing down as soon as the sun gets to your eyes, even putting on the hazards if you're that blinded. And also the consequences are huge. This is a bad excuse overall. Next up, we have the excuse they were honking at me for no reason. I'm just going to say it straight up. They're usually honking at you for a reason. I get it. People can be extreme with the horn, but they're usually honking at you for a reason. I don't know about you, but I generally don't just, honk my horn for the fun of it. There's usually a reason, okay? Can people be extreme with the horn? Sure. Can people use it for road rage? Sure. But most of the time, there's something you could have changed if you get honked at. Terrible excuse. Next up, we got they were tailgating me. Now, in general, okay, should you tailgate? Absolutely not. Okay, tailgating is super dangerous. It's super annoying. It's just a terrible habit to get into. But most people who use this as an excuse are doing one of two things. Either they're going way too slow, as in like significantly under the limit, like 5 or more under the limit, or 2, they're overreacting and the person's not actually that close. Yes, I understand when people are tailgating you, it's annoying, but in general, like it's not an excuse. You should be using that often. It's a bad excuse. Next up, we got I was just changing the song, okay? So this is in relation to a near accident or complete accident. And you were just changing the music. It's unfortunately invalid, okay? I get these car systems are super annoying to use now. They're super hard to use. They make no sense. They require you to go through like 6 different like screens and like use face unlock and all this BS. Like they're more distracting than your phone. Doesn't matter, okay? Set a playlist, leave it, okay? You can have the volume knob right there if you need to turn the music off suddenly. This is a bad excuse for sure. Next up, this is in relation to getting a ticket. And it's, I was just following the flow. Now, I kind of understand here. Okay, I'm going to put it in, I kind of get it. I get it in the fact that it could happen to any of us, okay? And it's not a sign that you are a bad driver, in my opinion, if the flow is reasonable, okay? This is a controversial topic on the channel. So I get it. If you get the ticket, you're a bit upset. But I only kind of get it because at the end of the day, if you're speeding, you're speeding. End of story. Regardless of what the flow is, regardless of, how reasonable the speed seems, if you're speeding, you're speeding. So there's a bit of nuance there. I kind of get it. I kind of understand you. It doesn't mean you're a bad driver necessarily, but you still kind of deserve the ticket, unfortunately. Next up, it wasn't that close. Now, let's say someone is bad at driving and, they almost get into an accident or they cut someone off. They like to say, oh, it wasn't that close. Now, I feel like this is kind of a cope because a lot of the time it was that close. That is serious. And saying it wasn't that close kind of just denies that, the accident almost happened in question. I think there is some nuance here. Like sometimes it can be just another person overreacting. For that reason, it's going in meh. Finally, I didn't see them. So what comes to my mind for this excuse is like, oh, a pedestrian was crossing the road and you almost hit them because you didn't see them. It doesn't matter. Always be on the lookout. Like attentiveness is key when driving. This is not like secret information. Everybody should know this. Sometimes it partially is the other person's fault that you didn't see them, but at the end of the day, it's your eyes. Make sure you're more attentive on the road. Use it as a learning experience, okay? If you almost cut off, if you don't see a pedestrian, if you don't see a car coming, in general, this is just a bad excuse. That is all for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Follow me on IG, join the Discord. See you in the next one.